Everyone says electric vehicles' batteries are too expensive and don't last. But is this really true? Here is a fact that might shock you. Most EV batteries last 15 to 20 years, sometimes longer than the car itself. In today's video, we are digging deep into the real-life lifespan of EV batteries using data from Tesla, BYD, and Toyota. We will uncover how these batteries age, what causes them to degrade, and what you can do to expand their lifespan, especially in countries like Cameroon, Nigeria, and Ghana, where temperatures and infrastructure matter. Stay with me, this could change your entire view of electric cars. So how long does an EV battery last? Well, the average EV battery degrades about 1.8% every year. This means after 10 years, it still has over 82% capacity, and after 20 years, it still holds about 64%. That's more than enough for daily driving. But not all EV batteries are equal. Their lifespan depends on 5 major things. First, the battery chemistry. Lithium iron phosphate battery lasts longer than the manganese cobalt. The second is the charging habit, whereby regular charging heats the battery more and causes faster wear. Charging slowly at home can help. The next is the depth of discharge. Draining your battery to 0% and charging to 100% every time, this shortens the lifespan of your battery. The next is the climate. Extreme heat or cold makes the battery work harder and over time degrades faster. Next, the software management. Cars like Tesla, NIO, or BYD use advanced systems to balance the battery and prevent overcharging or overheating. So your battery could last 15 years or only 7 years depending on how you use and maintain it. Let's look at some real EVs on the road. A Tesla Model S with over 500,000 kilometers still has 80% battery health. A Nissan Leaf older model with passive cooling dropped to 70% after 9 years in a hot region. A BYD E6 used in taxi in Nairobi still performs after 400,000 kilometers with little degradation. And what about warranties? Most EV manufacturers now give 8 years or 160,000 kilometer battery warranty, guaranteeing at least 70% capacity. In fact, in most cases, the car wears out before the battery does. And the data proves it. AutoUp analyzed over 6,000 EVs. Most battery lasted over 15 years. Toyota's solid-state battery prototype reportedly survived over 2,000 charging cycles, giving it a 20+ year lifespan. The average EV owner won't even need to replace the battery unless they drive like a taxi. So when someone says EV batteries are disposable, it's simply not true. Here is actually what happens when an EV battery dies. It doesn't just stop working. Instead, it gradually loses range. A car that once did 400 kilometers per charge may now do 280 kilometers. But that's still enough for most daily users. Most Cameroonians, for example, drive less than 60 kilometers daily. Batteries degrade slowly unless abused, and thermal management cooling the battery with liquid or air helps. Tesla, BMW, and Hyundai use cooling systems. Some older cars like the Nissan Leaf don't. That's why Leafs in hotter climates degrade faster. And you know what? EV owners don't even notice that degradation until year 8 or 9. There is also the myth that you need to replace the battery every 5 years. That's only true for early EVs or cars without management system. In Africa, most used EVs imported from Europe or China still arrive with 70 to 80% capacity, perfect for city driving. In fact, as long as you avoid deep charging or deep discharging, Don't fast charge daily and keep the car out of extreme heat. Your battery could last decades. So what happens when an EV battery is no longer good for driving? It starts its second life. EV batteries that drop below 70% capacity are used for solar energy storage, backup power, and even mobile charging stations. In Kenya, South Africa, and Morocco, startups are using old EV batteries to power homes and entire neighborhoods. There is also recycling. Companies like Redwood Materials, CATL, and even Tesla recycling lithium, cobalt, and nickel from old batteries to build new ones. By 2030, over 150 gigawatt hours of used batteries will be recycled worldwide. So even when EV battery dies, retire from the road, they still have value for decades. If you want your EV battery to last long as possible, follow these real-world tips. First, charge between 20 and 80% most of the time. Full charge isn't always better. Avoid fast charging daily. Use level 2 or home charging when possible. 3. Keep your EV packed in the shade or indoors in hot climate. Drive smoothly. Aggressive driving heats the battery. Use preconditioning. Warm the battery before charging in cold weather. Now let's talk Africa. Hot weather and poor roads don't mean your battery will die early. Brands like BYD and Wuling now build cars for tropical markets. Cameroon, Nigeria, Ghana urban dwellers can easily use an EV with basic charging. What's needed in awareness? Where to charge, when to charge, how to protect the health. And platforms like AutoUp can bring that education. There is also a growing import market. If you are buying a used EV, check battery health using tools like Avilo or Leaf Spy. These tools show you the actual capacity remaining so you don't buy a dying car. Most charging stations are being installed in Douala, Yaoundé, and Lagos with solar integration. Batteries will be protected and cheaper to charge. The future is electric, even in Africa. If you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to AutoUp, and turn on the notification bell. See you in the next video.